Welcome back to the Shadow Screen, where we dive deep into the darkest corners of cinema. Today we're exploring one of the most influential horror films of the 21st century, Gore Verbinski's The Ring from 2002. Why The Ring changed horror forever. Before we begin our journey down the cursed well, let's understand why The Ring remains a watershed moment in horror cinema. As the American remake of the Japanese film Ringu, it didn't just introduce Western audiences to J-horror, it revolutionized the visual language of fear itself. In an era when horror had become synonymous with slashers and gore, The Ring brought something different: psychological dread, visual sophistication, and inescapable horror. Its washed-out, blue-green color palette created a world where sunshine seemed permanently dimmed and technology became the vessel for supernatural terror. Most importantly, The Ring presented a monster that followed rules but offered no salvation. The 7-day deadline, the copied tape, these weren't just plot devices but metaphors for our media-saturated culture, where images spread like viruses and our screens became portals to something beyond understanding. The cursed tale begins. Our story opens with two teenage girls, Katie and Becca, discussing an urban legend about a videotape that kills anyone who watches it exactly 7 days later. Katie reveals she watched such a tape the previous week at a cabin in the mountains. When the phone rings, just as the legend foretells, Katie dismisses it as a prank. Minutes later, she dies a horrific death, her face frozen in a grimace of pure terror. Enter Rachel Keller, Naomi Watts, Katie's aunt and a Seattle newspaper reporter. At Katie's funeral, Rachel learns about the videotape rumor from Katie's mother, who begs her to investigate. Rachel, a single mother to a precocious young son named Aiden, David Dorfman, initially dismisses the story until she discovers that all the teenagers who stayed at the cabin died at the same time on the same night. Down the rabbit hole, Rachel's journalistic instincts kick in. She travels to the mountain cabin where Katie stayed, finds the unmarked tape, and, in a moment of fateful curiosity, watches it. The tape contains a series of disturbing, seemingly disconnected images. A ring of light, a woman combing her hair, a ladder against a wall, a burning tree, a finger being impaled by a nail, a writhing centipede, people with bags over their heads, a chair spinning upside down, a lighthouse, a horse falling from a cliff, and finally a well in a clearing. When the tape ends, the phone rings. A child's voice whispers, 7 days. The clock is ticking. Disturbed but skeptical, Rachel enlists the help of her ex-boyfriend Noah, Martin Henderson, a video analyst. After showing him the tape, he experiences the same phone call. Now they're both marked. Rachel makes a copy for Noah to study, and they begin investigating the tape's origins. Rachel discovers that the horses on the tape belong to a horse breeder on Moscow Island. Meanwhile, Aiden begins drawing disturbing images of himself in a coffin, claiming that Katie told him he would die in 7 days. Even more unsettling, he reveals that Katie showed him the tape, uncovering Samara's story. Rachel's investigation leads her to the Morgan horse farm on Moscow Island. There she learns about Anna Morgan, who committed suicide after suffering from hallucinations. Anna and her husband Richard had adopted a daughter named Samara, who possessed a strange ability to burn disturbing images into people's minds and onto film. Rachel discovers that Samara was sent to a psychiatric hospital but continued to torment her adoptive mother. After Samara's return, the Morgans' horses began committing mass suicide by throwing themselves off cliffs, just like the image on the tape. Racing against time with only 3 days left, Rachel visits Richard Morgan. He's hostile and evasive, but Rachel manages to find Samara's bedroom in the barn, hidden behind the wallpaper. Inside the room is a TV that turns on by itself, showing Samara in a hospital. Rachel also finds an image of a tree, which she recognizes from the tape. The tree, the well, the truth. Rachel locates the tree from the tape and discovers it belongs to a former psychiatric hospital where Samara was treated. Medical records reveal that Samara never slept and was capable of psychographically burning images onto surfaces, even X-ray film. Noah joins Rachel at the Morgan Ranch after Richard commits suicide. They discover a hidden well beneath the floor where Samara's room once stood, the same well from the tape. Rachel experiences a vision revealing the horrifying truth. Anna, driven mad by Samara's torment, suffocated her daughter and threw her into the well, where it took Samara 7 days to die. The final day. Struck by a falling television, Rachel falls down the well and wakes up moments before drowning. Finding Samara's body slowly fading into a decomposed state, Rachel and Noah begin believing they've solved the mystery and laid Samara's spirit to rest by finding her remains. Samara wants the world to know the pain she felt and has thus created a way to force people to endure 7 days of agony before dying. Rachel concludes the girl wanted them to find her body. Unfortunately for them and the rest of humanity, Samara's curse is not over. Rachel tells Aiden they've helped Samara, but he ominously responds, "You helped her? Why did you do that?" In a gut-wrenching twist, Noah becomes the victim of Samara's vengeance when she crawls out of his television, revealing that discovering her body wasn't enough to break the curse. In one of horror's most iconic moments, Samara emerges from the TV screen, her waterlogged body moving in unnatural, jerky motions, her long black hair covering her face until the final reveal of her decayed, inhuman visage. Noah dies of fright, his face contorted just like Katie's. The only way out. Rachel realizes with horror that the only reason she survived is that she made a copy of the tape and showed it to Noah. The curse passes to whoever watches the copy. It must spread like a virus to survive. With this terrible knowledge, Rachel helps Aiden make a copy of the tape, ensuring his survival but dooming someone else. As the film closes, we're left with the disturbing implication that the cycle will continue indefinitely. The curse of Samara Morgan will spread from person to person, a digital contagion with no cure, only the cruel choice to save yourself by condemning another. Questions that haunt us. After experiencing The Ring, we're left with unsettling questions that echo the film's themes. In our modern world where media spreads virally, what other horrors might we be unknowingly sharing? If you found yourself marked by Samara's curse, would you make the same moral choice as Rachel, saving yourself by potentially condemning a stranger? What makes the concept of a ghost that can travel through technology so uniquely terrifying in our screen-dominated society? The Ring continues to terrify not just because of its jump scares or disturbing imagery, but because it taps into our primal fear of the unknown, lurking within the familiar. It turns our comfort, our televisions, our phones, our screens, into conduits for horror. In doing so, it created a new blueprint for psychological terror that continues to influence horror filmmakers 2 decades later. What other modern horror classics would you like us to explore next on the Shadow Screen? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into cinema's darkest corners. As I edit The Ring 2002 for our channel, the irony isn't lost on me. Here I sit, alone at midnight, splicing together footage of a cursed tape that kills its viewers, while creating content eerily similar to what I'm analyzing. I'm essentially crafting a viral video about a lethal viral video. As I upload the finished recap, I can't help but wonder, am I continuing Samara's work? If you don't see a post 7 days from my uploading, it can only mean one thing. I'm in Vegas,